This model is aimed at libraries and the registration of titles in general. It derives from a prior web model which was first oriented to libraries and later extended to bookstores. Then, a commercial component was added to it, and it became integrated with our system of products, billing, and so on. By extending its scope to bookstores, the interest in expanding the scope of titles because besides books and magazines, bookstores also sell music, videos, and so on. This model goes even further in this sense and allows the classification of titles of an even greater scope. For example, communication titles that arise from conference and events, blog articles, and others. Many of the works themselves, books, music, videos, and other media can also be filed in electronic format. Thus the works themselves or excerpts of them can be attached to titles for immediate access through simple click. The commercial component used in libraries has not been included in this model. That is a separate model that works integrated with this one. We would also like to draw your attention to the word library, which should not be taken restrictively in this case. Many organizations have a library, even if it's only limited to magazines and technical books, legislations and other supports for their activities. Even individuals often have thousands of assorted items whose registration and indexing can be done with this model. Let us briefly see the basic menu of this model. Basically, in the central part is a set of previously defined encodings that can be registered in order to enrich the records of titles being registered. We highlight the following with regard to the encoding related to the content, genres, thematic organization, and descriptors. With regard to the format, we have presentation, style and graphs, accessories, and collections. Let's see these options in greater detail. In order to use this model on a daily basis, it is important to establish a set of encodings. The model is available with some uncommon encodings as examples. By selecting the genres, we can see children's literature, comics, computing, and other types of genres. Under thematic organization, we can see architecture, architecture general, architecture urban, architecture landscape, and others. With regard to descriptors used to index titles, there is a number of keywords that may be chosen by the organization. It begins with actor, Africa, agriculture, aircraft, alcohol, and others. Now, with regard to the formats, we have presentation, carton cover, hardcover, and paperback. Regarding the style and graphics, we have if the book is illustrated. Regarding the accessories, we have several accessories that may accompany CD-ROM, DVD, engraving, and poster. In the collections, let's select publishers starting with C% so as to view their collections. Here they are. From Caminho, we have An Adventure, Beginning to Read, In Pairs, Travel in Time, and works by Alice Vieira. From Circuit Leitores, we have Disneyland, Green Patrol, and others with their collections. The name-based link to title is one of the three cornerstones of this model. These names do not refer to authors only. Actually, there may be all sorts of names relating to those titles. Therefore, each name should be associated with a main authority keyword or code, indicating the domain in which that name most stood out. This does not prevent a name having writer, as the main authority code Saramago, for instance, to be associated with the title having the role of translator, or John Wayne, whose main authority code is actor, to be associated with a title like director or producer. Let's see how names are registered. By selecting the option Names, we enter the criteria screen and we will select all the names born after 1st January 1900. We obtain a listing, highlighting José Saramago. There is a biographical note containing a link to the Wikipedia. If we click on this link, we have immediate access to that Wikipedia page. Let's see it. As for the remaining fields of the listing, we emphasize this column indicating the main authority code in the name stood out, in this case as author. Simply place the cursor over the acronyms and they are decoded. The remaining columns are self-explanatory. Now, here are two very useful comments showing that here we have titles registered under this author. We could immediately access them through a click. Also, if you want to insert another title for this author, we will just click on Insert Title, and the panel would immediately open up so the title could be registered. Titles are the second cornerstone of this model. The goal was to allow registering all kinds of titles. We have already referred to several areas: books, music, movies, conference, and blogs. Nevertheless, one of the features that this model presents is the definition of titles within titles, which allows the further widening of the scope of recordable titles. For instance, it allows the registration of titles of magazine articles, the so-called clippings, within the magazine title itself, more specifically within the magazine issue number. Let's see. Let's then select the option Titles, and in the criteria panel, ask for the titles begin with BA%. Here is the listing, and along with Balthazar and Blimunda is a highlight to a short summary and two links associated with it. One refers to a Wikipedia web page. Let's see it. And the other is to the cover of an issue. Let's see it. The features regarding attachments of digitalized excerpts of works are very important. We can digitalize parts of works and attach them. Take examples, covers, and indexes. We can also search for the reference in the internet and attach them. Let's take a look at the rest of the listing. Here, in this column with names, we highlight the author, A.U.T. José Saramago, a made-up film producer's name, Rafael Ábalos, and also a made-up director's name, Richard Robinson. Such a feature regarding being able to associate a number of names linked to a title by different roles is a key element in the framework of this model. Then, there is the information about the publisher, publications, and so on. Note also that the registration of titles may be made available in the internet on public or restricted sites. That's the advantage the Altoga models offer for being 100% web-based. Loans are the third cornerstone of this model and meet the requirements of this basic feature in any library. It's worth drawing your attention again to the term library used in here, which should not be taken restrictively. As mentioned earlier, many organizations and even people that do not admit to having a library do have enough items of various types to justify the registration and indexing. Let's access the option Loans. We click on the OK button in the Criteria panel. Here we notice the book The English Roses, The New Girl by Madonna, requested by Carolina Souza on the 3rd of July of 2009. Then comes The Mona Lisa Smile by Jerônimo Stilton, requested by Filomena Alves on the same date. Both books have not been returned yet and no return deadline has been given either. The return date is blank. Now Joana Pereira and Beatriz Silva returned their books on these dates. We can obtain over this listing and through the selection criteria panel the report of the loans exceeding the deadline. How many books have been lent to a particular petitioner and for how long and others. The system also allows the preference of petitioners to be analyzed and consequently the provision of desirable number of copies of each title. Therefore, this listing is the main working tool when it comes to loans. We have presented in this video the model library titles along with the necessary details for the first assessment by organization. It's worth noting that this model can be easily implemented and used immediately, which may immediately result in gains for organizations. In this context, we remind you that the dialogue can be deepened so we can better analyze your needs and our answers to them. We and the network of partners we integrate are fully prepared to listen and support you.